Okay, let's talk about something I'm willing to bet is going to feel incredibly familiar to a lot of you. We're diving into the hidden and honestly the exhausting toll of being the designated therapist friend.
Does this just hit you right in the gut? That feeling of being completely and utterly drained, even if you haven't done any real physical work all day? If you have been there, sitting in that car, then this is for you. We're going to unpack exactly why this happens and what it's really costing you.
You know, for so many of us, being that reliable, wise friend, it's a role we wear with a certain pride, right? We're the good listeners, the problem solvers. But there comes a point where that badge of honor starts to feel incredibly, incredibly heavy.
And this right here is the crucial distinction. I mean, being a supportive friend is one thing, but being on the receiving end of constant, one-sided emotional heavy lifting, that's something else entirely. It's a role you probably never actually signed up for, but here you are, on call 24/7. And this constant draining work, it has a name: emotional labor.
Now, the sociologist who first came up with this term, she was talking about it in the workplace. But in our personal lives, the cost isn't money, it's neurological. You're literally paying with your own peace of mind, with your own physical energy, because you're constantly pushing down your own needs to manage someone else's. So let's look at what's actually happening inside your brain when you do this.
So this isn't just in your head. This isn't you being too sensitive or just easily overwhelmed. No, there is real, hard science that explains why you feel so physically drained after just listening to someone else's crisis.
Just think about that for a second. When your friend is spinning out in a panic, your body panics right there with them. Your heart rate actually goes up, your muscles tense. You're not just hearing about their stress, your body is physically experiencing it. And when this happens over and over and over again, well, this is the long-term consequence. Allostatic load is the scientific term for the damage that chronic stress does to your body. It's the reason you feel bone-deep tired while you might be getting sick more often. This is the very real physical price you pay for carrying someone else's emotional weight.
And this just perfectly illustrates what's going on. That feeling, you know the one, where your stomach just drops when their name pops up on your phone? That is not you being a bad friend. Nope. That is your nervous system, your body's own intelligence agency, warning you that a spike of cortisol is on its way. It's trying to protect you.
Now, here's a time that I think really gets to the heart of it all: attachment depletion. A healthy friendship, it's kind of like a bank account where both people are making deposits, right? But in this dynamic, you're the only one putting anything in, and eventually that account is going to be completely overdrawn. This slide just lays out the difference so clearly. I mean, look at the left side. That's a friendship, a safe haven for both people. Now look at the right. That's emotional extraction. That's where you become a utility, a tool used to regulate someone else's emotional state with very little regard for your own. So how do you know? How do you know when you've crossed that line from just being a supportive friend to being completely and totally burned out? Well, the symptoms are very real, and they often mirror what professional caregivers experience. It's a thing called compassion fatigue. So, as we look at the signs on this next slide, I want you to be really honest with yourself. Ask yourself if any of these feel familiar, because just recognizing this in yourself can be a huge light bulb moment. Let's start with resentment. That little flash of irritation, that when you know a vent session is about to start. Then there's numbness, where you're just going through the motions, saying, oh, that's awful, but inside, you feel nothing. And finally, avoidance, actively dodging their calls, letting texts go unanswered because you just don't have the energy. These are not signs you're a bad person. They are classic, textbook symptoms of burnout. Wow, this one really captures the trap perfectly, doesn't it? You're the strong one, the one who always has it together, but that pedestal, it prevents you from ever being the one who's weak or uncertain or just plain human yourself. It really is a gilded cage. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem. Now, what do we do about it? The good news is this doesn't have to mean just ending friendships. It's about recalibrating them. So let's get into how to do that. Here are 3 really actionable strategies. First, the 80-20 rule. If 80% of your conversations are all about them, you have to consciously interrupt that and claim some space for yourself. Second, and I love this one, strategic incompetence. You have to stop being the fixer. A simple, wow, that sounds really tough. I honestly don't know the answer to that, can be revolutionary. And third, the old classic, you simply cannot pour from an empty cup. You can't.
Let's sit with this for a second.
You are not required to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. You have to remember that. Prioritizing your own needs isn't selfish, it's essential for your survival. And this is so, so important. Setting boundaries isn't about building walls or becoming unfeeling. It's about turning a one-way street into a two-way conversation. It's about changing the relationship into one that can actually last, one that can sustain itself for the long haul. And that right there brings us to the most crucial point of all. Real intimacy requires space for both people. If you have to shrink yourself down to fit into a friendship, that isn't intimacy. It's occupancy. You're just filling a role in their life story.
And so I'll leave you with this final, really powerful question. When you finally put down the weight of everyone else's problems, who do you find underneath it all? What are your own needs, your own dreams? Reclaiming your energy isn't just about saving your friendships, it's about rediscovering yourself.